So, part 2 of this continuation from GamingBible by the same author, James Lynch. I really want to meet this guy. Seriously. Star Wars, the Acolyte fans left baffled by major tease. Oh, what might have been? Star Wars The Acolyte really did turn out to be a bit of a tough time for the franchise, as the show's cancellation after one season marked the culmination of months of criticism from the enormous fan base that the universe created by George Lucas attracts. Let me read that again. Marked the culmination of months of criticism from the enormous fan base that the universe created by George Lucas attracts. Fans can criticize. Fans can say if they like something or they don't. Why? Because they are fans. That is your core audience. Fans go to watch a football match, or if you're in America, soccer match. Why? Because they support their team. If their team is not playing well or not doing well, they have the right, because they use their hard-earned money, to go and watch their team play, home and away. So people who buy merchandise, who buy the Expanded Universe books, who buy whatever they want to do, have a right to voice their opinions. If they see something, if, like me, I was 6 years old when my father gave me a VHS of Star Wars. Back then it was not Star Wars, it was not a VHS of Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, it was just Star Wars. And of course I became enthralled, fascinated, completely. Without knowing, at the time, there were 2 more films. I did not know that at the time. And this was in the middle of the 90s. And I became enthralled with this universe completely. Absolutely completely. Setting whatever the exact reasons for that were to one side for a second, it was a show that had a ton of intriguing storylines going for it. What intriguing storylines? What, the stranger taking off his stuff and then walking into the ocean to have a bath? Well, I don't even remember her name. You see how irrelevant these things are. Of that girl watching him. Fantastic. The fact that they are not making it anymore may mean that we are never going to see how the writer intended them to be resolved. But what ones? It's killing me. What ones? That Plagueis was watching from the background and looked like a hand that was for Halloween, extended out, deformed. Again, 300 million. And you make a hand of Plagueis look fake. I'm going to put it now. There we go. That's what it looked like. Huh. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? It's driving me crazy, honestly. So, tangentially to those big story threads, there were some more subtle and intriguing hints placed throughout the show that reference the films, and there is one in particular that feels like a real missed opportunity after the Acolyte's cancellation. I wonder what that's gonna be. In an interview with Inverse, showrunner Leslie Headland, former assistant of Harvey Weinstein, spoke about their upcoming plans for the show, in brackets, when it was still a thing. And it featured one small teaser that could have extremely far-reaching implications for the wider Star Wars lore. You keep speaking about lore, but you have no idea about Star Wars lore. What the fuck is this guy's name again? James Lynch, is it? You sound like a girl. Seriously, James Lynch. What a name is that? Seriously. Essentially, the Acolyte featured the use of Kylo Ren's theme throughout several episodes of the show. When asked why that was, Helen had the following to say, in quotations, It is there on purpose, but I can't tell you why, and I can't go into what it is, but you shall see. So, I'm going to give you a little summary of what I think, right? Now, if you have to connect something which I said in part 1 that took place 100 years before the sequels, right? If you've got to connect that, there's a reason, because you want it all to connect with each other. Okay, there's no problem with that. As I said, we've got the expanded universe. That's great. Okay, we've got even the ones before I'm reading that came out in the 90s. We've got the Thrawn trilogy. We've got many, many. If you actually see the list, I'm going to put it up right now. Huge amount of stories after the Return of the Jedi. We've got Rogue Squadron, the X-Wing books as well, that apparently are extremely well received. Of course, they're all under the banner of Legends. That's what you see on the book, Essential Legends Collection. That's fine, connecting some threads. I absolutely agree with that. But you are reaching here. You are extremely reaching. Where maybe I'm wrong, but when the Acolyte came out, no one was talking about how Quimera could relate to Kylo Ren. No one. I could be wrong. Someone tell me. No one was doing that. People were more pissed off because of the fact that he was a Sith. And again, to reiterate what I said before in the previous video, the Sith have been extinct for a millennium. Hard to see the dark side is. So, what are we doing, guys? Seriously, what are we doing? The only reason, in my opinion, and I call it lazy writing. Why? Because you have to connect things that don't need to be connected to make them relevant, because people are not accepting it. People are more likely to accept something when they know it's a connection to something which they love. Hence why so many times they've tried to connect things to the, for example, take the Ahsoka series, putting in Anakin Skywalker. In the world between worlds with Ahsoka. Ahsoka should have died a long time ago, we all know that. It is his Dave Filoni's love child because I'm a man with a hat and I got a dog. Like, what are we doing? Seriously. And Ahsoka Season 2 is coming, and Hayden Christensen will be back as Anakin, and also Ewan McGregor will be back as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there. It's just like at the end of the Kenobi series, putting Liam Neeson back in as Qui-Gon Jinn and saying, "Where have you been?" Oh, by the way, Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn is a pussy because he died from a lightsaber blade through his chest. But other people in the Ahsoka series did not die. What are we doing, seriously? Essentially, okay, the Acolyte featured the use of Kylo Ren's theme throughout, as I said. And there's a purpose. What does it mean? It means you're full of shit. Unfortunately, we likely won't see now in brackets unless it's explained in another Star Wars adaptation. Please don't do it. Adaptation, sorry. But fans think they have worked out what the intentions were nonetheless. Now, what fans are you talking about? Real Star Wars fans or fake Star Wars fans? Because there are a lot of fake Star Wars fans out there. If you ask them, who is Qui-Gon Jinn? Who? What are Metachlorians? Let's not get into that. What it amounts to is the idea that Manny Jacinto's character, the Stranger or Quimera, as he's sometimes known, would go on to form the organization that becomes the Knights of Ren. So again, I said in the previous video, so basically what he's saying here is that Kylo Ren, whose real name is Ben Solo, took the name Ren because of this order. But it doesn't make sense because we didn't get anything from Knights of Ren. They were just stupid background extras. But at the same time, let's say, okay, you could have someone in there. We never got that. And plus, like I said in the previous video, these were Academy students that were with Luke Skywalker's Academy, the New Jedi Order Academy, and they rebelled with Then he convinced them to leave the academy and join him. That's why also the rise of Palpatine, the rise of Skywalker, did not make a lick of sense. What much of the speculation comes down to is how the character is an effective user of both the light and dark sides of the Force in searching for students to teach. Did I miss something about the light side? Maybe I did. Leave me a comment. This would make him a pretty ideal figure to start an organization for him to work as a Knights Friend. So basically, you're saying that he's a Jedi Knight. Well, actually, if you go back to the expanded universe in Dynasty of Evil, he's actually a Dark Jedi Knight. That would make more sense than a Sith. It would make way more sense than a Sith. If he's got both the light and dark side, it would make way more sense than to be a Sith, if apparently he's tuning into the light side. Oh my gosh. So that has been further backed up by the character's recent arrival in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where his description says the following: "Hailing from the High Republic era, this enigmatic warrior exploded onto the scene in the forest of Korfar in the Disney Plus show, The Acolyte. The stranger's power is undeniable, cutting down an entire team of Jedi with relative ease, acting as a mentor to both light and dark side Force users. He seeks to gather a group of powerful students while pursuing his own agenda." So he's Dark Jedi. Basically, he's not Sith. He's Dark Jedi. What are we doing? He's Dark Jedi. So whilst we don't have an exact confirmation of the writer's intentions for the character's connection, of course we don't, because they did not know what the fuck they were doing. So as we don't have exact confirmation of the writer's intentions for the character and his connection to Kylo Ren, there's plenty of evidence to say that Quimera may have enjoyed a much bigger impact on the Star Wars galaxy than we first expected. Of course! Because it's... they have to connect every single thing. I'm getting tired of this shit. Honestly. I'm getting really tired. Like, it was a nice... If you read The Path of Destruction, the first of the Bane trilogy, you get a little... spoiler alert. He gets the holocron of Revan, which is a nice little cutback. They were written by the same author. You can do that, you know. That's nostalgia. That's dangling keys and all that stuff. But Revan was not part of the story. I think it's through 5 or 6 pages, and that's it. Done. And I know about Revan. I know a little bit about his story. Again, I've not read the book yet. I've got it. I can see it right in front of me right now. But trying to tie this all in, man. I mean, even if you take a really, really good writer, someone who's good, I would consider Stephen S. Knight to be very good, for example. It's going to be hard to connect this shit because it doesn't make sense. There is no logical thread. They speak about threads. There's no thread. So what are we doing? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. And I'll be back with part 3. See you later.